Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking out time and joining us on stage.
Well, again, we have lots of money control and money control. So I'm going to keep plugging that in. But sir, एक मुझे बताइए 300% return on GST किसी और state या union territory में मिल रहा है अभी?
Nowhere. I think that's the highest incentive available anywhere. And as I was hearing, and I must really compliment you, if there is one way in which you can incentivize industry, it is to go back and say that whatever you get back, whatever you get by way of GST is going to come back to help you expand, to help you grow. Very, very well done.
कैसे किया सर ये भी तो बताइए.
मोटे तौर पर इन जैसे विशेषज्ञों से बातचीत करके मुझे अकल नहीं है, आगे बढ़ गया था. उसमें देश के गृह मंत्री जी का बड़ा सहयोग था. उन्होंने भी बड़ी व्यक्तिगत रुचि ली थी इसमें.
एक कहीं ना कहीं डाउट है लोगों में. इतना हाईएस्ट टूरिस्ट फॉल हुआ है, रिकॉर्ड तो टूरिस्ट फॉल हुआ है. अभी अमरनाथ यात्रा में भी कह रहे हैं 75 दिन का होगा, 3 लाख से ज़्यादा श्रद्धालु आएंगे वहाँ पर. फिर भी लोग जम्मू कश्मीर कहते हैं. तो कहीं ना कहीं आपको लगता है एक डर है वहाँ पर लोगों के मन में?
मुझे लगता है कि अब ये डर वाली बात लोगों के मन से निकल गई है. नहीं तो 80 लाख लोग नहीं जाते जम्मू कश्मीर में. अभी कई मित्र मुझे यहीं मिले थे कि साहब हमने अपनी मीटिंग गोवा में फिक्स कर दी क्योंकि वहाँ न टिकट मिल रहा है न होटल में कमरा मिल रहा है. मैंने उनको कहा कि 1.5 साल और इंतज़ार करिए. फ्लाइट्स की संख्या बढ़ गई है, होटल्स की संख्या भी 1.5 साल में बढ़ जाएगी ताकि आप लोगों को दिक्कत ना हो.
वो इशारा जरा हेमेंद्र जी की तरफ कीजिए.
In fact, Anand, on that note, let's also try and extract some pearls of wisdom from both the gentlemen on stage. Mr. Kanbar and Mr. Kothari have been advising firms over the years, several of them being family-owned businesses. Mr. Kothari, give us a sense. You've been a veteran investment banker, a markets veteran. You have seen family-owned businesses transition over several decades. I was speaking to one of the guests earlier today, and she very lucidly pointed out that she would like to divide the trend of Indian family-owned businesses in the pre-91 category and the post-91 category. You, sir, have been there. You have seen it all. You have advised some of the biggest corporate houses over the years. What are some of the trends that you're noticing now? And do you think some of the family-owned businesses are adapting to the demands of the 21st century?
I think what the greatest change which has come in last 20 years to last 15 years is the new entrepreneurs class which has come up in the old family businesses. And what you see, highly educated people joining the 100 years old family offices. So I think the way they're thinking, the way they apply their mind in the growth of their own business and of course for the country. So it's a lot of difference there than what we used to see before. They are much more applying their mind, where to go, where not to go. What kind of risk, reputation, ethical way of doing business. I think these are going to be very important for future. And I think that is what I see a difference between the past and today.
Sir, my question is, today we are talking about sustainability. We are talking about governance. We are looking at social governance. We are looking at environment. Are we in India at a place, and ये आपके भी पॉलिसी सवाल है कि जितना आप ग्रीन होंगे उतना आपका टैक्स कम होगा, जितना आप ग्रीन होंगे उतना आपका इंटरेस्ट कम होगा. This is banks are doing it abroad. Are we doing it in India already? Is it possible?
Well, I think we should start looking at it. Sustainability, there is the climate change, which we know it's happening. And we have to be very worried about particularly the climate change. We have roughly 18% of the world population to 19%.
Yes.
And we have 4% of the water of the world.
Correct.
So if we are not going to be conscious about that, then I think we are in trouble.
So that's why I'm asking you, 70% of our country's GDP is coming from family businesses. So are we at a place where family businesses are incentivized that the greener you are, the lesser interest you pay, the greener you are, the better you get tax rebates?
Maybe Kashmir should get that more.
Jammu and Kashmir
If I
should
can
start.
just actually respond to that. You mentioned about interest reduction, etc. I think this government has a different policy, and I actually welcome it. which is to put money directly in your hands rather than economize. So most of the things which the government wants to do, you see a PLI scheme. In a PLI scheme, what you're saying is, I don't want any intermediaries, I don't want any computations. Depending on what capital investment you are making, I'm going to put money in your hands. So there is a PLI for green energy, there is a PLI for batteries, there is a PLI for chips. So that's what the government has been doing, and I think that's the right way to incentivize the ESG. What you said is absolutely right. We need to do more and more towards that, but the government is doing that.
क्योंकि ये जम्मू कश्मीर में एक राजनीतिक विषय भी है कि आप जम्मू कश्मीर में इतना निवेश ला रहे हैं, इंडस्ट्री ला रहे हैं, तो वहाँ पर पर्यावरण को लेकर चिंता जताई जाएगी, तो उस पर थोड़ा सा राजनीति भी हो रही है।
पर्यावरण का पूरा ध्यान रखा जाएगा। और अगर आप देखें तो पिछले 1-1.5 वर्षों में जिस तरह से फॉरेस्ट कवर हमारा बढ़ा है सब्सटेंशियली, और उसकी हमने चिंता की है, तो इसलिए इसका पूरा ध्यान रखा जा रहा है। और जो एक बात मैं ज़रूर मेंशन करना चाहूँगा कि कई बार देश में एक भ्रम रहता है कि जम्मू रीजन में इन्वेस्टमेंट आएगा, कश्मीर में नहीं आएगा। इस बार जो आंकड़े हैं वो लगभग बराबर के हैं। जम्मू रीजन में 1200-1500 करोड़ ज़्यादा है, कश्मीर डिवीज़न में भी इन्वेस्टमेंट काफ़ी मात्रा में आया।
So an ESG friendly Kashmir. Round of applause for that, gentleman. Mr. Kanubar, we've spoken about tax, we've spoken about ESG. Another very important aspect of family-owned businesses, and Mr. Kothari also would agree, is succession planning, right, Anand? Now, it's not necessary that Gen Next wants to follow the same line of business that the parents have been running successfully for quite a while. This is a Gen Next that has an alternate line of thinking. Mr. Kanubar, what are some of the trends that you have noticed when it comes to succession planning? How has that changed over the past decade? And what are some of the nuances that you come across when it comes to deciding what will the next generation do? How will you plan it in a reasonable manner so that there is no friction going ahead?
First, just a very quick supplement to the question which you asked, Hemendra Bhai, on the changes, because that's relevant to succession planning. There was a point of time when you said that Indian family businesses could grow to a particular size, 2,000, 3,000 crores, and then they would struggle, and then they would be bought out. No longer. The fact that today you have got Giga Awards itself is a manifestation that the businesses grow, and they don't grow just from one generation to another, but go multi-generation. And when businesses grow multi-generation, it is but inevitable that there will be people within the business who may not have interest in business. Somebody might want to do music, somebody might want to do car racing, somebody might want to do philanthropy, somebody might just want to be a professional, and we see that ever so often.
So are you seeing more next-gen people continuing in the same line of business, or are you looking at them having different interests, and which is why you're seeing a lot of promoters exiting companies?
I think it's a combination of both.
Right.
And the way it happens, Ashwin, really is that you have 2 children, 3 children in a family. Some of them are interested in the business, some of them are not. There was an archaic point of time thinking that it's only the sons who would come into the business and daughters would not. No longer so. There are daughters in business, there are sons who may not be in business. And what I see in terms of succession planning is an absolute approach by entrepreneurs to come back and say that I want my wealth to be distributed in a particular manner, but I do not want my business to be disrupted. And therefore what you see is setting up a family trust, a family governance council to go back and say those who are in business can continue to be in business, can continue to manage and grow the business, but the wealth is equitably distributed in such a manner that the business is not distributed.
Anand, basically value preserve होना चाहिए.
नहीं, वैल्यू के साथ साथ ये बिजनेस एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का कीड़ा है. I mean, do you see generations now coming out and saying, I want to do something else. I'll do a different business.
I think what Narasji said that is very clear to me. If, like, I'm in the 4th generation of the business, and my daughter is in the 5th generation, she is working. The question today is, I have 2 daughters, and both want to do, suppose, differently. They have the right to do it. The question is, what he mentioned very clearly is governing councils. So create some sort of principles on what way your business, main family wealth, how it is managed. You want to do something you can do something different, you can do something different. Maybe the family, if there is a kind of liquidity, they can give money to both sides and still try to share if possible. Who is working more in that business can get a little percentage more. So there are policies you can create depending on each family, how they would like to work together. So it depends. It cannot be exactly same for one family. It can be for various other family.
सियासी प्रश्न एक थोड़ा सा एक एंगल था, लेकिन यहाँ पर कई लोग हैं जो अब जम्मू कश्मीर के बारे में सोच रहे हैं, कह रहे हैं भाई 300% GST पे मिल रहा है तो जाना पड़ेगा। कुछ लोग हैं जो ऑलरेडी वहाँ निवेश कर चुके हैं, आपने कहा 52,000 करोड़ रुपए तक की निवेश की बात हो गई है, तो क्या उनके मन में हाँ मोर देन 38,000 करोड़ हो गया है, आप कह रहे हैं 52,000 करोड़ से ऊपर, हाँ इट विल क्रॉस। तो क्या उनके मन में कभी किसी ने आपसे संदेह ये सवाल पूछा है कि भाई JNK LG साहब चले गए, CM साहब आ गए तो फिर क्या होगा?
नहीं, जम्मू कश्मीर अब भारत का ही हिस्सा है और भारत के सारे कानून अब जम्मू कश्मीर में लागू हैं, वो बदलने वाले नहीं।
बहुत बढ़िया।
सिन्हा जी, मैं आपसे एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ। बॉम्बे के काफ़ी दिग्गज बिजनेसमैन यहाँ हैं, एडवाइजरी फर्म्स हैं, लॉयर्स हैं, इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकर्स हैं, स्टॉक मार्केट के भी काफ़ी दिग्गज पर्सनालिटीज है। बॉम्बे से भी नहीं, दूसरों शहरों से भी काफ़ी लोग आए हैं आज मनी कंट्रोल और वाटरफील्ड एडवाइजर्स के फैमिली बिजनेस अवार्ड्स के लिए। तो अगर आपका कोई मैसेज है इनको JNK में इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए, तो आपका क्या मैसेज रहेगा हॉल के लिए?
मैं उनको एक ही बात भरोसा देना चाहता हूँ कि आप आइए, देश के किसी हिस्से में जो आपको सुविधा मिलेगी उससे बेहतर सुविधा हम देंगे, उससे बेहतर वातावरण देंगे।
देखो उन्होंने उधर स्पीच में ही दे दिया, वो मेरे दिमाग में रट गया तो इनको तो पहले ही रट गया होगा। 300% ऑन GST, उससे ज़्यादा आपको क्या चाहिए? बिग राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज टू हिमेंद्र जी, LG Manoj Sinha,
Mr. Dinesh Kanabar,
and yes, Kanabar ji. Thank you very much.